In today's video, the anatomy of a great question, question stems and sentence starters for instructional coaches. Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another 5-Minute Friday from Eduro Learning. My name is Kim, and I have been an instructional coach for almost 20 years, and I am the premium mentor for the Coach Microcredential from Eduro Learning. I am super excited to be sharing this video with you today because all of the questions I'm sharing today are used in the Coach Microcredential and our private mentoring packages. And our registration for the Coach, our 4th cohort, is open now. It's open till April 12th, so don't miss your chance to join our next cohort of the Coach. If you're interested in hearing more about that, I'll leave a little bit of extra info at the end of this video for you to check out. I also want to let you know that we have some new templates and PDF downloads coming soon, so keep your eyes peeled for those here on 5-Minute Friday, or check out our website at COACHBETTER.tv/start. All right, the anatomy of a great question. I've got 5 features to share with you. The first feature is to connect to prior experience. Help the teachers realize what they already know about whatever kind of question they're asking you. And the question stems I would use in this instance are things like thinking about other similar experiences you've had with these students in your classroom. How would you, why would you, what would you? Or knowing your students and how they've responded in the past. How would you, why would you, what would you? These types of questions let teachers recognize that they already have the answer within them. They've already had this experience, maybe in a slightly different context, and helps them make connections to their prior experience so they can recognize they have strategies and skills to handle this new experience as well. My second feature is to inquire deeper into the teacher's actual goals. Sometimes we can feel a little stressed when a teacher asks us a question that we have this pressure to answer immediately, but we're not actually really sure what they're asking. So it can help to give yourself a little bit more background about what they really need or want by finding out what they really need or want. And so a question stem that might work for this is, tell me a little bit more about what you've done so far. What's worked and what's been challenging. And that might help you identify areas of strength for the teacher and areas of growth that you might want to work on with the teacher and really kind of pinpoint what their question is. Another standard question that I ask all the time, that if you've watched these videos before, you know it's one of my favorites, is what do you want students to know and be able to do? Sometimes teachers can get trapped into this is what I've always done, and it can be hard to think about the overarching learnings they want for their students when it's kind of mixed up in the activities or the project or the assessment that they've done in the past. So this question kind of lets go of those previous tasks and focuses in on what the students really need to know and be able to do by the end of the unit. And then you can have a deeper conversation about how you can support them in reaching those goals. My third feature is to empower independence. And that does come back to connecting to prior experience, but it's also part of the issue of sometimes teachers becoming dependent on coaching and expecting that you're with them for this same project every single year. I'm sure, like me, you've had the experience of doing a great collaborative project with a teacher, coaching them through a whole amazing project, and then they come back to you the following year and say, when are you coming into my classroom to do this again with me? And you were thinking that the whole time you were helping them become independent. So here are some kind of simple questions that help them think about the fact that you might not be able to be with them the next time they do something like this, and they will actually be capable to do it on their own after you work together this initial time or 2 times or however long it takes. So some of those question stems or sentence starters could be, when I'm not here, how will you remember whatever it might be? Or the next time you do this on your own, what do you need to remember? You can combine questions like that with a note-taking template, which, as I promised, will be on COACHBETTER.tv/start soon. So please check that out, and I will leave the link in the description box below as well. Another question that can empower independence that's a little bit different is even just asking, what's your first thought, or what's your gut reaction, or what's your first instinct? I know often when I am being coached, my coach will say that same thing. What's your gut instinct, or what's your first thought? And even though it is a very simple question, it really prompts a lot of deep thinking, and it makes you realize You do have an idea, you do have an inspiration, you do have a first thought. Maybe it's not the complete final answer. Maybe you're not going to get all the way there just with that gut instinct, but it can start leading you down a path that allows you as the coach to ask better questions and allows the teacher to dig into their own previous experience and their own skills that they already have. The fourth feature of a great question is to be open about what you don't know. I mentioned earlier that sometimes we as coaches feel the pressure to have every answer, and that is just not realistic. So being transparent about what you do and don't know is really important. One of the ways you can address that is to say something like, "That's a great question. Let me do some research and get back to you." Or, "That's a great question. Let's work on finding out the answer together." Or, "That's a great question. Do you want to dive deeper into that with me?" Anything to let them know that maybe you don't have the finished answer right now at this moment in time. You're demonstrating a growth mindset with the teacher you're working with because you're asking them to be growth minded as well. Some other ways you can kind of dig deeper and to find out how you can support that teacher is to ask questions like, when you had a similar experience in the past, what worked and what didn't? Or, have you seen this work in another classroom? What worked well and what didn't? Or, what would the ideal outcome look like in your classroom? What do you want to see students doing? What attitudes or behaviors do you want to see them exhibiting, and how do you want to feel? So talking a little deeper to identify exactly what they need and being open about what you know and don't know can help both of you have that deeper conversation to get towards that ideal outcome. My fifth feature of a great question is allowing the teacher time to talk while you listen. Sometimes that time to talk is also an opportunity to determine which type of question you want to ask them. So you can empower them to keep talking by saying things like, "Tell me more about," or something as simple as, "And what else?" Just to allow them that time to keep sharing their thoughts and ideas and help you better understand what they need. One of my favorite questions that came from a Coach Better conversation with my co-host Clint Hamada, and I will put a card to that up here as well, is, if you did know the solution, what would it be? And I love the idea of allowing teachers that idea, that thought that they might actually know how to solve their own problem that they came to you for, and just kind of talk it out for a minute. All of these questions, obviously, you have to pick and choose what's right in the moment. If the teacher has 5 minutes and they're panicked and the kids are lining up at the door, you're not going to ask them, "If you did know the solution, what would it be?" Because that will just be super frustrating. So pick and choose these types of questions as they fit appropriately with the teacher's needs that you're working with in that moment in time. These are just some sentence stems and starters. Hopefully they're helpful for you. As you're using these question stems and sentence starters, take notes. Make sure you write down what you need to follow up on so that you do actually follow up and follow through. Even if you're taking notes, it's really important to be present in the meeting at that time so the teacher knows you're genuinely listening. We have lots more on effective coaching conversations in our 5-Minute Fridays and on our COACHBETTER.tv website. I'll leave some cards here on the YouTube and the link down below here so you can check those out. Hopefully this 5-Minute Friday on the anatomy of a great question was helpful for you. If you have strategies or question stems or question starters that work really well for you, please leave them in the comments below because we'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you have questions about coaching, comment them below as well. We'd love to support you by creating a video just for your needs. And stay tuned for more info about the Coach Cohort 4. Registration is open now, and we would love to have you with us. Did you enjoy today's episode? Then you will love the Coach Microcredential program. We know because our current participants are always sharing their feedback with us, and we ask them to share their experiences with you.
I'd really advise anyone interested in taking the coach to take the plunge and go for it.
So do it, and you won't regret it. Yeah, you'll really enjoy it. It's a valuable experience.
So I say go for it. Definitely take the coach. I couldn't recommend it more.
So I'd highly recommend it. I would definitely suggest you try and join to really help you develop your professional coaching skills.
But overall, this course is fantastic because it's made me feel awesome. It's made me feel excited for my future. It's given me really great skills to help others. And hopefully I can help others to feel the same way.
So I highly recommend it.
If I were to give any piece of advice or message to future cohort members, it is to take the course. If you are on the fence, please take it.
When you're ready to learn more about the coach, click on the link below or reach out to us at Eduro Learning on any of our social media platforms. Registration for our next cohort opens soon. Don't miss it. Expand your professional learning network, dive deep into 26 weeks of curated coaching content, and get your own private mentor for an entire academic year. We can't wait to work with you. Are you ready to take your coaching skills to the next level? Join the next cohort of The Coach and make it happen.